There is a kind of becoming that no mirror can show, a kind of growth not measured in years or achievements, but in the deep quiet of the soul. It does not appear in photographs, cannot be charted by metrics, and often goes entirely unnoticed by those nearest to us. And yet this hidden work is the most important thing happening in the universe. For it is not the visible things that shape eternity, but the unseen choices, the silent yes to God in the dark. You who are chosen, you know something of this, or at least you suspect it, for your life has been marked not so much by applause, but by process. While others have rushed ahead with noisy certainty, your path has often felt like waiting in the fog. While others have been celebrated for what they can do, but the divine uses time like a sculptor uses a chisel, with vision and precision. There is a painful mercy in this, for if you had risen too soon, the weight of your calling might have crushed you. And if the doors had opened early, you might have walked through them with a heart not yet formed to carry what lay beyond. The becoming you long for is not just a release into something new, it is the preparation to stand under the weight of what is coming. You are not merely being held back, you are being made ready. This is how God works. He hides his greatest works in plain sight until the hour of unveiling. He does not parade his masterpieces while they are still drying. He waits, and in the waiting the soul is shaped. It is in the hidden furnace that steel is forged. It is in the unseen soil that the roots grow deep. And so it has been with you. You must not despise these hidden years. You must not mistake delay for denial or silence for absence. The farmer does not forget the seed just because it is buried, nor does the painter abandon the canvas because it is half finished. The delay you feel is not disinterest, it is design. The timing of your life is not random, it is rehearsed by heaven. The pauses are purposeful. The stillness has its place, and in it something sacred is forming in you that nothing and no one can counterfeit. The world is enamored with the spectacular. It crowns noise and speed. It celebrates the surface. But God is never in a hurry, and when he moves with quiet authority. So do not be surprised when the unveiling comes suddenly, though it has been long in the making. When the time comes, and it will, you will not be the same as when you began, and those who dismissed you in your hiddenness will marvel at what has emerged. But remember, the glory is not in the revealing, it is in the becoming. The most extraordinary things are not born in thunder, but in stillness. The sacred moments that change everything are almost always quiet, almost always hidden until the right time. And the right time is almost here. So be still, be faithful. Let the hidden work continue, for in the chambers of heaven the hour is drawing near. You are becoming something the world is not prepared to see, but heaven has always known. And when the time comes, they will say it happened suddenly, but you will know the truth. It happened slowly, and it happened in you. Would you like me to expand the other keynotes in the same way? Of course. Here is keynote 2. Time is short, eternity is near. Expanded to 600 words, written in the same C.C. Lewis style voice. Timeless, moral, reflective, yet forward-moving, without explicitly referencing him or his works. There is a strange thing about time. It always seems to be either too much or too little, depending on the state of the soul. To the distracted, it stretches endlessly and is squandered in small amusements. To the awakened, it is a thin, precious thread swiftly running out. The phrase "before June 1st" may sound like a trivial marker on the world's calendar, just another date among millions, but to those who understand the deeper story, It is a summons, a herald of an appointed season that draws near. Time is not your enemy, nor is it your master. It is your servant, a vessel in which the eternal is poured. Every hour, every moment is a seed of the everlasting. We are not creatures bound by the ticking of clocks. We are beings shaped for the eternal. And yet it is in time that eternity breaks through. The window before you is not long, not because God withholds, but because He is wise. The brevity of the time is itself a mercy, lest we mistake the waiting for an excuse to delay our readiness. The urgency of this moment is not driven by fear, but by purpose. Imagine a ship, long prepared for voyage, resting in the harbor. Its crew has grown used to the stillness of the shore. They patch sails, polish decks, and check provisions, but they cannot remain in the harbor forever. The tide is shifting, the winds are rising. The moment is coming when anchors will be raised, and the ship must set sail. To linger, then, would not be caution but disobedience. So it is with you. You have been prepared not merely for the comfort of preparation, but for the calling of action. The days ahead will demand not more planning, but readiness to step into what has long been promised. The sands of this season are falling quickly now. To spend these remaining days in distraction or delay would be folly. The wise do not panic at the approach of a deadline. They become more intentional. They sharpen their tools, focus their gaze, and clear their hearts. Eternity presses near, not merely as a future hope, but as a present reality. It is not only the far-off destiny we imagine beyond death, it is the unseen realm that even now shapes the visible world. When the moment of divine release comes, it will not be a matter of human timing, but of eternal orchestration. What has seemed slow to you has been perfectly paced from the perspective of heaven. And when that moment arrives, whether in a breath or in a week, it will seem sudden to the unprepared, but right on time to those who have watched and waited. You do not know all that will unfold. That is not your burden. Your part is not to predict, but to prepare, not to guess, but to trust. The season of hidden work is almost at its close. The season of visible unveiling approaches. Remember this: time is short because the work is great. The closer eternity draws, the more the temporary things fade. Let them fade. Let your gaze be lifted higher than the deadlines of men and the trivialities of the age. Fix your eyes on the unseen, for it is more real than all you can touch. In this final stretch, walk with the sobriety of one who knows that every hour matters. Speak as one who understands that words shape worlds. Move as one who hears the footsteps of destiny approaching. You are not late. Would you like me to continue and expand the next keynote in this tone? Certainly, here is keynote 3, You are chosen, but not for comfort. Expanded to approximately 600 words, continuing in the same thoughtful, moral, and reflective style. To be chosen is a profound thing. The word itself has weight. It suggests design, intention, even a sacred burden. But if one is not careful, it is easy to mistake being chosen for being favored in the worldly sense. We imagine applause, open doors, and effortless triumphs. We forget that every true calling comes wrapped in labor, loneliness, and the necessary breaking of the self. You were not chosen for ease. You were not set apart so that life would unfold like a gentle song. You were chosen for something weightier. There is a dangerous lie that sometimes creeps into the hearts of those called by God, the belief that being chosen means being exempt from suffering, as if God's hand upon you means a smooth path beneath you. But you have lived long enough to know better. Look through the pages of history, and you will see that every soul called to greatness walked through fire first. There is no crown without a cross, no glory without groaning. You are not the exception, you are the example. To be chosen is to be set apart, not only from what harms you, but also from what distracts you. The things others may indulge in, you cannot. The detours others take with ease, you are prevented from following. You are not forgotten, you are protected, not denied, you are being shaped. Though your restrictions may feel like rejection, they are actually refinement. The boundaries are there because the calling is holy. This is why you have felt the ache of delay, the weight of obscurity, the sting of pruning. Not because you are less favored, but because you are more assigned. God is not punishing you, He is preparing you, and preparation always feels like pressure until the purpose is revealed. There are moments when you will question whether the call is real, when others rise quickly and fall just as fast, when shortcuts seem tempting and applause is offered cheaply. But listen carefully. The deeper the foundation, the taller the structure can rise. God is not building something shallow in you. That is why the digging has gone so deep. Chosen ones are not cushioned, they are carved. You are being hollowed out, so something eternal can be poured into you. You are being stripped of what is unnecessary, so you can carry what is essential. You are not being diminished, you are being defined. Yes, others may not understand. Some may mock the slowness of your journey. Others may envy what little they think they see, unaware of the cost beneath the surface. But you must resist the urge to explain yourself. Those who are truly chosen never need to announce it. Their fruit will speak when the time is right. Their light will not need to be kindled by human hands. It will burn with a fire not made of this world. So then, endure the shaping. Accept the discipline. Embrace the silence. The potter is still at work. He has not set you aside. He has set you apart. You are not being withheld from something good. You are being prepared for something holy. And when the day of revealing comes, and it will, you will stand, not as one who was carried by comfort, but as one who was forged by fire. Not fragile, but faithful. Not pampered, but proven. This is the honor of the chosen. Not to be admired, but to be entrusted. And you are being entrusted with something far greater than you know. Would you like the fourth keynote expanded next? Here is keynote 4, a coming divine release, expanded to approximately 600 words in the same timeless, reflective, and moral style. There is a rhythm to divine things, one that human beings are rarely permitted to predict. We hunger for timetables, for signs, for clear announcements of when the promises we have carried will finally come to pass. Yet in the kingdom of God, the pattern is often this: long preparation, silent waiting, and then sudden release. What appears to be a delay is not a denial. It is the deliberate pacing of a wise and eternal hand. You stand now at the edge of such a moment. It draws near, not as a prize you have earned, but as a trust that is about to be placed in your hands. The coming divine release is not something you must force into being. No striving will hasten it, no anxiety will improve it. The appointed hour is set. The only question is whether you will be found ready when it comes. The mistake many make at this threshold is to confuse release with reward. It is not merely a moment of being lifted into the light after long darkness. It is not a pat on the head for endurance, nor a mere lifting of burdens. It is a commissioning, a releasing into purpose. The delays you have endured were not meant to wear you down, but to strip away what could not be carried into the next season. For this is no ordinary blessing. What is coming requires a vessel that has been purified by patience, by trust, by surrender. The unrefined cannot hold what is holy. If God had granted you this release earlier, it might have destroyed you, or worse, it might have deceived you. You would have mistaken the gift for the giver, the platform for the purpose. But now, through the refining fire, you can be entrusted with what is about to be poured out. And it will be a pouring out, not a trickle, not a hesitant granting, but a flow that will astonish even you. You will look back on these quiet years with different eyes and say, "Ah, this is what he was preparing me for." The pain will find its meaning, the delay will reveal its wisdom. But hear this caution. When the release comes, do not cling to the form of the old season. The temptation will be to grasp for familiar ways of thinking, old identities, past limitations. But release is not about resuming, it is about becoming. The person you have been in the shadows is not the one who will walk in the light of this new day. Be willing to let go, be willing to be remade. And remember, this release is not for you alone. It is given to you, but it is meant for many others. You are to be a channel, not a container. The grace poured out upon you is to flow through you. The influence granted is to be used for service. The opportunities opened are to be stewarded for the good of others and the glory of God. In this too you must be vigilant, for power is a subtle snare when it is mistaken for ownership. What you are about to receive you do not own, you steward it. Lastly, know this: the world will be surprised by what unfolds in your life. They have not seen the depth of the work within you. They cannot imagine the strength that has been forged in your spirit, but heaven is not surprised. This moment was foreseen. The release you will walk into was written long ago. So now, prepare your heart. Stay humble. Stay attentive. Stay ready. The gates of release are beginning to open, and when they do, you must be poised to walk through them with wisdom, courage, and grace. The season of hidden preparation is ending. The season of divine release is upon you. Let it come. Would you like me to continue and expand Keynote 5 next? Here is Keynote 5. The world will be shocked. Heaven will not. Expanded to approximately 600 words, continuing in the same timeless and thoughtful style. There is a peculiar habit in the world. It tends to underestimate what it cannot immediately see. It measures strength by visibility, influence by applause, and success by speed. And so, when someone rises from obscurity, when a light flickers on in what had long been forgotten corners, the world calls it a surprise, a shock even. But what appears sudden to the earth has often been long understood in heaven. You are on the verge of becoming something the world is not prepared for. They have seen only glimpses, shadows, the outlines of potential. They do not know the weight of what you carry inside, the fire that has purified you in silence, the prayers no one heard, the sacrifices no one noticed. They have no language for the interior shaping that God has performed in you, because they did not see it happen. But heaven saw. Heaven never looked away. And so, when the release comes, when what has been hidden is revealed, the world will scramble to explain it. They will say it was sudden, overnight, out of nowhere. They will grasp at surface reasons, network, timing, luck. They will search for natural causes to explain what was, in truth, a supernatural unveiling. Because the world cannot fathom a process that begins in the soul and not on a stage. But heaven will not be shocked. Heaven has been watching from the beginning. What surprises men confirms the wisdom of God. He has been orchestrating this all along, not in reaction, but in intention. He chose you before you were visible. He formed you before you were known, and He prepared this hour before you could conceive it. There is no astonishment in heaven, only fulfillment. You must not let the world's amazement distract you. When the attention comes, and it will, you must remain grounded in where it all began, in the stillness, in the silence, in the secret place. There will be voices seeking to redefine you, to place their labels upon you, to claim your emergence as their discovery. Resist the urge to correct them. You do not need to prove the depth of your story. You need only continue living it with integrity. The great danger for the chosen is not the obscurity of the past, but the visibility of the present. What tests the heart most deeply is not always affliction, but applause. Remember that when the world finally sees what heaven has known, your greatest strength will be found in your ability to remain hidden in God. Visibility must never replace intimacy. Impact must never replace obedience. And even as the world gasps in surprise, do not allow bitterness to rise. Do not spend energy resenting those who once overlooked you. The point was never their approval. The purpose was always God's process. Forgive quickly, bless freely, for you were not raised up to impress, but to serve. Let the shock belong to the world. Let the awe rise in their hearts, but let humility rise in yours. Because in the end, what matters is not how people respond to your emergence, but how you respond to God's faithfulness. You were not made for display, but for destiny. You were not lifted to be admired, but to be poured out. And so now, when the doors open, when the tables turn, when the crown is placed, not of gold, but of responsibility, walk forward not as a celebrity, but as a servant. Remember who saw you when no one else did. Remember who called you when you were still in the shadows. The world may now see what you have become, but heaven has known all along. So go forward. The world will be shocked, but heaven will simply nod and say, "It is time."